my left, David Williams. Now, we've already seen some pretty interesting matches so far.
Yeah, I mean they've been excellent. If you guys if you haven't already checked out our Twitter and our Facebook and our YouTube, the last two are on /WGLNA and Twitter is @WGLNA, where you can check out our question of the day, which is who do you think will score the most fantasy points tonight? Now at this point, it might be Executus because yeah, that was a lot.
So 4,700 points of damage.
I don't know, man. Honestly, that finish just wiped out everything from my brain. I can't even remember half of what happened today. That was so crazy.
I mean, that's all right. Well, looks like we're ready to go straight to the face-off with these next two teams. We have No and Yo Gaming.
How's it going? We have Lost for Yo and Comps for Noble. Let's start off with you, Lost. All right, sorry. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Yourself?
Doing great.
Great.
Yeah, you guys actually answered. You're already beating the last face-off. Thank you for that.
So. Maybe they won't throw me under the bus like the last one.
just BM, man. BM. All right. Let's fire off a question for Lost.
All right, so Lost, are there any tier 10 tanks that you just really don't want to face off against?
Probably Waffle, because if you get tracked, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah.
There's really nothing you can do about it.
And then, you can kind of get a situation where strategically is it the best choice, but mentally, it's daunting. And until you see it fire, it's terrifying. So I get you from there. Now, I'm going to take it a little bit less serious. Who made your logo for Yo, man?
It was actually a collective. Someone popped out with the Mona Lisa, and we're like, that's a great idea. And then it was actually Andy Pants, or whatever the other guy says. I don't
Underpants. That's
whatever
what we call him. At least behind the scenes. Underpants. Oh, because we're supposed to call him Andy Pants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've been saying it wrong
Andy.
this whole time.
That's a lot less fun.
Hey, would you?
No, we want to call him Andy. Alrighty.
Anyway, yeah, it was more of a collector game. He came up to Mona Lisa. We were putting some glasses on him, and we just changed the color around a little bit just to make it unique. But yeah, it was more Andy than anyone else.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
thought for sure that was the original Mona Lisa.
It might be.
Yeah.
The sunglasses just fell off over time.
All right. So, Comps, I haven't seen you since the season finals here. My question for you is, why did you score me any points last week?
Because I didn't play.
Oh, that's a really good reason. I thought we had a bond, man. We were boys. You're like, hey, we talked.
Oh, that's right. You did actually meet him at the finals as well. Although, I'm sure a lot of that was very busy for you, Comps.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yep, that was a busy weekend.
So, Comps, so far so good in the season. Is there any tank in particular that I would ask you, Matt, but I know you won't answer because you're Comps? Is there any tank in particular that kind of scares you in the current format?
Wow, that is such an original question.
That's what I do.
I would say probably the E3. In a hull down defensive position, it's a hard nut to crack. So I'll go with that tank.
That would trigger me as well. That's no bueno.
No bueno at all. All right. So, Yo, any last words for Noble?
Be gentle.
Noble, your response.
Good luck and have fun.
Oh, he's always so nice about that. Good luck to both of you guys. We'll be seeing you very shortly.
All right, thanks.
There's got to be a joke about Comps already having a washing machine on hand to clean them out, but I feel bad for even alluding to that, so I'll endure this moment in shame. Now we can talk about the actual match.
Absolutely.
Noble versus Yo. Looks like it's going to start out on Cliff with Yo on defense. So they're going to have to probably... This is a team that they will definitely have to go to the middle and fight them head-to-head, or it's going to go bad. If you allow Noble the time to break you, they will break you. So this one, starting out on Cliff, this could be over real quick one way or another. But let's check out the rosters while we got a moment.
Now, same, kind of like last time, are there any characters or guys we should be looking out for?
Well, so far, Chai Sniper and Bobby are kind of the two of the guys that get picked the most in fantasy. And there hasn't been a whole lot of battles to really decide who are necessarily the best or most reliable players on Yo. I'd be interested to see as it moves forward. And for Noble, so far it's been Akula. I believe Dodoma is up there as well. And I think External actually put up a lot of points last time. But, and I'm not hating External. I know you're good. but a lot of those were cap points. So I'm not going to necessarily count on those continuously happening because defense and cap points aren't super reliable. It depends on the map and the situation. So, so far, I'm going to stick with Akula and Dodoma as kind of the two players to point out the most.
All right. Well, both of them are actually on my fantasy team, but we've seen Noble do
Mine
pretty
too.
well on the first. Let's see if they can give us a repeat show, or if Yo can manage to take a couple of points away from them. But let's go ahead and get down and see what we have for our tanks.
For Yo, we have two 140s, two STB1s, a 62A, an AMX-30, and an E50. Noble with two bat shots, two 140s, an STB, T54, and a T54E1. This is definitely a middle push for them, and I would be so surprised if it's not. There are so many autoloaders here. If Yo steps up and takes them head to head, it's gonna be brutal. It's a lineup thing. Immediately, Yo has to slow down Noble's assault here, and they have to draw this out to give time for their consistent DPM to make up for the incredible amount of burst that Noble's going to deliver on them. You have, if you look at this, the SDB has a nice kind of introductory shot. It's got a decent alpha. Both these bat shots for Noble are going to swing around into the donut side. They're going to get a lot of damage. Perhaps they will go even further and pop up behind Yo at C5 or so, but nope, they're going to shortcut in. They'll have beautiful side angles. We saw this from them last time. X-Soldier goes up a little bit. He does have shots on Lost. He's starting to rain that damage out. And so far, Yo has not fired back whatsoever. Militant's going to support the rest of Noble on the other side. It's going to entice Yo to try and go up and over, which is exactly what Noble wants. They're stood off. The 54E1. Everyone else has their guns on target here. The only one who's out of the fight is X-Soldier. He's already taken the spot. Lost going down to the 62A to external. The rest of Noble just piling on the damage here. Bobby goes down immediately. Another one to external. The rest of the team focusing on major trouble. Look at this focus fire. 1077. Akula goes down. Rip my fantasy team. 453. Major trouble's going down to Canadian Impact. External's next on the chopping block with 1200 damage going out to him already. And he's going to take down Dodoma going against Ondipons, taking him down just fine. Or Andy Pants. Tasty Pastry taking out external. Tasty Pastry going down himself. 54E1 Germ is reloading now. This is kind of a moment for Yo to try and come back with 2v5. I'm going to have to say that's pretty impossible, especially against this team. Both bat shots. One is loaded, one is almost loaded. Ajax just hanging out by himself. And yeah, that was less than 2 minutes.
It was an
Noble.
extremely decisive
Noble.
match. Now,
Decisive is, yeah, exactly.
Now we saw that
Whew.
They wanted to just go straight up over the hill. They brought the big guns, thinking they could just lay something into Noble, and just as soon as I crossed over the hill, immediately lost one of their teammates.
It's complicated.
Okay.
I'm actually going to try and explain why it's complicated this time as best I can. So give me a moment because it's going to come out a little bit slowly here.
Okay.
At the lock-in screen, when they can see what the other team is, Yo had no more options.
Okay.
They're pretty much done right then and there. They had to slow play it, but they couldn't because they know that Noble knows the map better than them. They know the strategy is better than them, and that they will find the opening that Noble needs. Those two bat shots can show up almost anywhere and nuke something rather quickly. And just in general, you had to take it to Noble, and Noble was waiting for it. It's just not a prepared strategy on Yo's term. They don't know the map yet. Cliff is a very difficult map to play, and they're going against a team that knows it. Like I said last time,
last week.
Personally practiced the Cunninghams on this map for so many hours, and most of these guys were Cunninghams, now Noble. They know this. They know exactly what they're doing, and I'd be surprised to see them blow it. Their current strategy forces their opponent to come after and get them, and they're prepared and waiting with a 54E1 and a couple other tanks in standoff positions. It's just, as soon as the match starts, there's not much you can do. So we'll see if Yo can make some adjustments. Next time they're on defense, they're going to need to bring either more autoloaders and focus on that head-to-head fight, which honestly, at this point in time, I wouldn't even balk at the idea of just bringing 5 autoloaders and 2 single-shot tanks for the somewhat reliable DPM, and just trying to go head-to-head and creating this an autoloader overwhelming fight. It still probably won't go in their favor, but it's one of the best options to have at this point because that's just going to keep happening.
Right.
Against almost anybody.
But real quick, the 2 bat chats they had up by the donut.
Sure.
Now, whenever Yo saw those, was that like, hey, we can overmatch them on the other side of this hill?
Yes. That's what people think. And it's not necessarily why those tanks are there.
Okay.
That's why Militant is there on the southern side of it. We'll cover that a little bit more as we get into the battle, but right now it's kicking off, so let's talk about the tanks while we can.
Absolutely.
Yo, with two 140s, two STBs, a 62A, an MX-30, and an E50. Again, not bringing enough autoloaders for this map in this situation, in my opinion. Noble with two Bat Chats, an Action X, two STBs, and two T-54s. They dropped off the 54E1. I think that's a good decision. It worked in the last match, but on defense, it's a little bit of a risk. Too many autoloaders on defense can be an issue unless you're going to go head-to-head directly in the center, at which point the sustained fire of 54 is still better. The 54E1, it's a little bit large when it's trying to engage in this area, so it takes a lot of damage. If Noble can rely on their superior experience in this situation, switching that out for 54 is fine. They don't need the autoloaders that much. Obviously, Yo isn't favoring them. So they're just going to go to the middle. Noble's going to try and force another fight. Yo's real only option is to meet them in the middle and try and duke it out as well. I respect this. A lot of teams trying to avoid it, and all they do is delay the inevitable. It takes minutes. They're doing exactly what they should. Just keep trying this until you learn how to do it. Ajax getting shot, 413. Getting one shot an X-Soldier. If they can take out one of those Bat Chats early, that'll be huge. Noble's doing a little bit of an adjustment here, not going to the outside. They're going to pour over the middle and try and focus on Fulcrus and Ajax. They are taking out Fulcrus, 406. Ajax, 813 damage gone. Ajax is almost dead, and he goes down to Germ. The rest of Noble starting to pour through. Yo's trying to collapse in on sideways. That is a good move. They can get under Militant and Dodoma. Germ is isolated now. Fulcrus isolated as well. External trying to shot for that shot. X-Soldier's going to pick it up. Bobby trying to get another shot in External as Yo is trying to collapse in on External and Akula and take them down. X-Soldier is no longer an issue to them. He is reloading. Dodoma and Canadian Impact coming in behind. Militant is reloading as well. He's just going to stay up there and look mean and try and scare Yo into a position where he could do something about it. And right now, it's just a moment in time where we wait for Yo to die, lost all alone, by himself, so lonely. As Dodoma comes around to help pick him up. And it's just a few more seconds here until another win goes into the Noble column. And Yo, the only thing they can do now is start bringing more autoloaders.
Yeah, and that is the second battle in a row on attack and defense for Noble. Is there anything that Yo needs to be doing differently?
So, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to answer this. They tried to overweight the outside of the hill. That was a good move. Noble kind of. I'm trying to figure out how to word this without it being kind of mean. Noble is taking advantage of the things that they know about this map,
Right.
and they're doing things by they're exploiting the lack of knowledge that Yo has on that. And I'm not trying to criticize Yo in this situation. Nobody who gets into the league at this point would know this.
Right.
And the reason Noble knows this stuff is they've been doing it for over 2 years at this point. So it's old hat to them. And it's basically like like a pitcher stepping on the mound. He's like, check out my fastball.
Right.
Oh, you're trying to dial that in. Here's a curveball.
Okay.
Now here's a slider. Just showing him the whole bag of tricks. Noble's going down the list one by one, showing them all the different classic ways to fight there in the middle. By biasing themselves towards the middle underneath the hill, they were able to basically prevent the opportunity for Yo to shoot at them at all.
Right.
And they were getting an isolation on the only things that could stop Noble from winning. Yo made a great adjustment trying to take it out, but too little too late, and they didn't have the autoloaders. If they bring autoloaders, they might have actually pulled that out.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, I mean,
It's a nice, honestly, incredible adjustment on their part, and I'm very impressed by it.
awesome. Well, I mean, one of the quick questions I had for you is, seeing them on attack and defense, we saw Noble get to the hill with both of their Bat Chats, but in the first match, Yo decided it doesn't look like they took the tanks capable of getting there in time.
Yeah, speed is definitely a big issue in the south in particular. The north already has a slight speed advantage to get there. And the only way you're going to stop yourself being kind of a shooting gallery is
Right.
to bring faster tanks, which in the past was 1390s, which was daunting. But again, we can cover that again a little bit later.
All right, well, the next match is about to begin. Can Yo come back and make this a 2-1, or will Noble make it a 3-0? Let's get down to the match and see what we have for our tanks.
For Yo, two 140s, two STBs, and 62A, an AMX-30, and an E50. For Noble, two Bat Chats, 142 STBs, and two T-54s. Again, I'm just going to have to give it to Noble in this situation. Based on lineup alone, they should win as long as there's a head-to-head fight. Both teams look like they're going for the head-to-head fight, as I've already beaten this horse into the ground. Yo's best option is the head-to-head, and to just win. Just shoot them more accurately. If they try and do cheeky stuff, there's a very, very high chance that Noble already knows about it. But this, again, Yo with some nice adaptations. They're going to try and get a pick on both of these bat shots. And as long as they can get there and get a track on him with Ajax, they will pick up at least X-Soldier. If they can track Militant in front, that would be huge. That's kind of a rookie shot in that situation. Militant and X-Soldier getting a little bit out of the pocket here. The rest of Noble's going to shoot right over to the donut area. X-Soldier's going to take a lot of damage in the meantime, though. It's going to be a little bit of a traffic jam here on the low ground. Yo's got to get up and onto the north side of this fight for it to even be fair, as both of these bat shots are getting away, and now the rest of Noble is here, and Yo is contained. Noble can take a step back and find better positions if they want, but they're going to keep pouring it on. Again, counting on the incredible experience, that overmatch of experience, to take out Lost and Tasty Pastry, overwhelming the south side of the donut, which is exactly how you do it. The two bat shots on the north side for containment. Yo's making another great adjustment, but trying to take everything they've got and horse a head-to-head fight against Noble here on the south side of the donut. It's going to be a long one, a drawn-out fight until X-Soldier comes in from behind, picks up Lost, almost picking up Lost, doing a little bit of damage on Lost again. 400 total. Lost is one shot away. X-Soldier had to send one shot on Fulcrus to keep him pressed back. Noble is actually getting pushed back from their current positions, but Yo is still down over 2,000 hit points. Militant coming back. He has 3 shots left. He will pick up Lost here any second now. He is not focusing that shot well enough. Militant, come on now. Canadian Impact going down to Bobby. The rest of Noble trying to scatter out here. X-Soldier trying to take an advanced position. Yo is actually starting to survive more based on their sustained fire, but until both of these bat shots reload, we will not know for sure whether that pays out for Yo. Yo trying to pick up external with T-54. 1 shot left. Ajax grabs him. Akula is the only person left in the open. A lot of hit points down for Yo in this moment as X-Soldier is now reloaded, and unfortunately for them, again, the autoloaders will be the difference for Yo, and it is time to adjust, and it is one of the hardest things to do. Again, I'm seeing so many good things come out of this team. It's hard for me to be critical of them. And in fact, I'm actually more comfortable being critical of teams that show this kind of thing, because I don't feel like I'm picking on the new guy.
Right, right.
I mean, they deserve to be pushed a little bit harder than they are. And right now, they just need to learn how to play autoloaders, because a lot of teams, they get scared of it. It's too much risk, and it can be. But if you don't, he who dares wins.
Now,
Noble knows it, Noble's doing it.
The risk associated with an autoloader is you get multiple shots in a shorter time frame, but then you have a super long re-rack.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And in the bat chat, it's somewhere between 35 and 40 seconds. I don't know exactly with all of the perks on it, all the different crew talents and all that kind of stuff. My guess is it's like 37, 36, up to perhaps 38. But as it is right now, that you could be reloading during that time, but it's not too long. You just kind of need the rest of your team to properly focus and hit the right shots.
All right.
And as you saw there, once X-Soldier reloaded, it went from looking like Yo was going to win,
Right.
and then 5 shots happened, and Yo was clearly going to lose.
Okay.
Yo needs that punch themselves. When they bias themselves towards the south side of the hill, if they had 2 bat shots there,
Okay.
with the 2 bat shots for Noble being out of position,
Yeah.
it would have been a 5-on-7 that would have been dominoes, tank down, tank down, tank down, and then all their sustained fire would be able to play. So right now, just little tweaks,
Right.
and they'll be in the game. But they've got some nice instincts.
It looked like they responded very well, thinking the bat chats may go that route again.
Yes.
But would the first mistake probably have been whenever they couldn't track one of them?
Yeah, you just want to slam on the brakes and track the first one. It's a funnel. So the first one stops and the second one runs into him, then the rest of your team shows up and those guys get vaporized like that. And if Noble was able to come back 5-7 on Cliff in this situation, it would blow my mind. It's not that it's impossible. They would have the high ground.
Right.
It's just very difficult.
But
And Yo would have to give him a little room.
Yeah, but then you're also talking, then you have, 7 more, potentially 7 more guns on 5 people, and then you get into where that buffer just may not be enough, even if you do miss a couple of shots.
Yeah, it probably won't be enough. It takes a lot of very talented play to dig yourself out of that situation. Cliff would be one of the maps that would be easier to do it on because of the high ground, and you can kind of lock them down there. But still, I would be very surprised if Noble would have been able to pull it out. But it's all kind of irrelevant because Yo didn't hit that first shot.
All right, it looks like we're going to be into our 4th match. Can Noble take another point and make it 4-0 against Yo? Let's find out and take a look at what we have for our tanks.
For Yo, 250Bs, an Object 142 STBs, an AMX30, and an E50. Getting a little excited. I'm seeing some autoloaders, and they're great autoloaders. Noble themselves, actually one more on their side. 250Bs, a Batchat, 2 STBs, and 2 T54s. Wondering how much in their head Noble is right now, seeing that they pick 2 autolers and just going 1 more to make sure they have that. But if there's ever going to be a match, oh, actually, gonna have to backtrack on that a little bit. If Yo was on defense with this lineup, I'd be very interested to see if they could pull it out, because I think that would be the best situation they could be in. Now, I want to take a step back here and not criticize that first missed shot at the E2EF region so much.
Right.
As that wasn't, it would have been nice if it happened, but the push around the south side of the hill was where everything was decided, and Yo just didn't push hard enough, fast enough to get it done.
And Militant actually picks up spotting on almost
Look
all
at
of the
that, the
members
whole
of Team
team.
Yo. An excellent position. And the fight has gone down. Ex-Soldier and Noble are starting to focus down Major Trouble. They are going to push around this hill, perhaps trading back and forth. Major Troubles looks like he is going to be the first one down. Oh, and it pans. And Major Troubles can take about Ex-Soldier and Germ.
External stepping around, trying to get shots on Bobby. Canadian Impact following him up. Canadian Impact always a mainstay with that team. He's going to nurse it a little bit longer, and he sneaks it right by Fulkers to pick that up. That is incredible. Tasty Pastry was a beautiful ram on the 50B. Lost, also picking up Ex-Soldier. It is neck and neck as both teams are going back and forth here. Noble has a little bit of a hit point advantage, but Tasty Pastry going down, extending that a little bit more. It is 4 tanks on 3. Fulkers is 1 shot away. If Noble can pick them up with the Kula, Kula's going ham for it. It gets him with another ram kill. It is a bumper car match in here today. Loss is almost reloaded. Akula has full hit points. You can pretty much count on him to carry the rest of this out. Militant's coming in with a bad shot. He's going to put 5 into the side of Ajax. Maybe he wanted a loss for the fun of it. Canadian Impact picking up Lost. And the rest of the team, Canadian Impact also picking up Ajax. That was real close. Real close.
It was an extremely
Real
quick match.
That may not look close to you, our viewer. Hopefully it does. Hopefully at this point you can kind of see how quickly this stuff snowballs. But that was 1 tank, 1 situation away from going in Yo's favor. But Noble held true, and it got to a point where Yo just didn't necessarily know what to do next. They got the pickup they were looking for, and that moment of hesitation of, wait, who now? Noble's already saying, this guy, and focusing on it. And in that hesitation, 1 tank went down, and the snowball began. Plus the greater positions on the north side help.
Right, and I'm
Noble,
sure,
man.
I'm
It's
sure,
gonna
you know,
happen.
even just having matches like this where it could come down to just a couple of shots, which looks like
Yes.
more of a favor in one team than the
Yeah.
other. But this is probably an incredible experience for Yo to even be having right now. Be like, okay, this is, I mean, just dynamic footage. You'd be like, okay, right here,
This
if we
is-
would have hit this would have been the
this
difference.
is super valuable. And if they catch somebody who kind of understands everything and kind of break down exactly the little points, or at least they understand themselves, you know, this was the moment that we lost a gun that was super critical and we should have covered with this guy, then they could go toe to toe with a lot of great teams out there. Or they perhaps may try a whole different variety of strategies. I wouldn't necessarily advise against that. I've been pretty obvious about some maps like Mines and Cliff to just go in the middle. Everything else, you're risking too much.
Okay.
And while it is nerve-wracking, I'd be willing to help him out. I love talking about that map. Cliff is one of my favorites, but it looks like we're going to go into Sand River. Noble trying to pick up that 5th win over Yo. And Yo, sorry to say it, Yo kind of getting taken to school, but hopefully that'll help them out for the rest of the league.
Absolutely, and the great thing is it's still early in the season. Nothing set in stone yet. This is the time to be losing,
Absolutely.
or to just not
Absolutely.
be effectively getting everything you need to be doing. Not, if your strategy fails, you still have plenty of time to polish it up.
Yep.
And move
They
on.
already beat WGLNA, getting picked on like this and getting kind of a crash course in how a lot of these maps can play. Can help them pick on a lot of the other qualifier teams, because if they're anywhere close to them, after lessons like this, you get mean real fast.
All right. Well, we are going to go into what is potentially the 5th battle. Can Noble make this a 5-0 sweep, or can Yo manage to pull this out? Let's just see what we got and get down there and take a look at our tanks.
Look at them tanks. Yo with 2 140s, 2 STBs, 2 62As, and an RU-251. Noble the 215B, an E5, 2 Batchats, and Action X, and 2 T-54s. This is the first time in this season that I've seen Sand River played. It's the first time I've seen it played in WGLNA where it wasn't an assault map. This is the first time I've seen it played that didn't involve a season that ended in my own tears. I'm not going to elaborate on that. For those of you who got it, it's hilarious. For those of you who didn't, don't worry about it. Yo moving in on the southern side of this map, trying to get a little bit of control through the city That is, it's going to be an awkward fight to get out of there, although the terrain has changed a little bit since back when I played it. It was a little bit of a nice place for Bobby, Andy Pants, and Fulcrus to fire from.
Something I would love to know. I mean, I've never seen this match played, and even in the games that I've played, I haven't done it a whole lot. The hill's up at the 2 cap. Does that make the 2 extremely difficult to cap?
Yes and no. It depends. If Yo were to have gone there and one medium fights up there, then those hills are now in their favor.
Okay.
So it just depends on who gets there first. It will be more in the defender's favor if they get there, because they will get there first. But you can win that. You can fight it out. And there's still the 1 cap. Both of these are very exposed. Now, it's important for the defender to take the northeastern corner because they can fire into the northern cap from a lot of these high ground positions. So they will overweight themselves there, which will make it hard to assault directly, which is why a lot of teams will probably bias themselves towards the south side, or why a lot of teams may not necessarily want to fight on this map. Unless they find some sort of, kind of linchpin to a normal strategy over here. I think a lot of teams will avoid it because it is, at least in my opinion, a little bit biased towards the defending side. And artillery could change that. I could speculate on a lot of things that could change it, honestly. But right now, I would much rather be in Noble's position on the map, not even talk about the overall match, than I would be in Yo's. But Yo can have their own effect on this by sneaking up the way they're doing it right now and taking this ridge just by the 1 cap. That ridge can be shot at from where Militant and External are, but they also have great shots on Akula, Dodoma, and Canadian Impact, provided they don't use the Dune against them. It's a very interesting, tricky, and kind of a dynamic place to play. You have to use the rocks and pick your targets and manage 6, 7 different angles all at the same time. But if you're good at it, and they can pull it off, they can get a lot of free damage on Noble. I don't think Noble would just sit there and let him have it. They'd probably drive on the other side of the Dune, which is where Fulcrus, Bobby, and Andy Pans would come in. But there's a long way to safety no matter where Noble goes here, and it's just a very delicate thing for Yo to find those angles, so it looks like they're slowly clearing out this southeastern corner and just not overplaying their hand.
So it looks like they're taking a very, very slow purchase because they know that Yo has to cap. And so are they going to try to force them down into the 1, or are they just going to take the fight to them because, why not?
Right now, I'm assuming you're talking about Yo trying to force Noble somewhere, or Noble forcing Yo?
Yo forcing Noble.
Ah, yes. So, yeah, essentially, Yo is going to take this ridge with his 62A Ajax right here, and then they're going to apply cap pressure to the 1. I misheard you before, but now I understand what you're trying to say. Yes, they will get on, or what you probably did say. They will get on that cap and draw Noble back to it. They will force them through cap pressure to come back, and they will try and use the ridge where Ajax is in order to prevent them from actually getting back or to do damage on them while they do. And Andepons, Fulcrus, and Bobby will have an angle, you probably see right here, on a lot of the cross shots or a lot of the cross positions as Noble tries to move through. So it's an interesting approach. But Noble can very likely just kind of overweight the 0 line, barrel in there, and clear everything out. They do have the tanks for it. Depends on how much damage they take while doing it. And there's just a lot of spread by Yo right now. It's not necessarily a catastrophic situation for Yo. Both teams are actually relatively neck and neck right now, provided Yo can find a way of putting somebody on cap that Germ or Militant couldn't eventually find an angle for, or even External, or Dodoma or Akula. It actually looks like, from now that I'm flying around here, it looks like Noble has every answer they need. They're going to have to mostly kill Akula and Dodoma and Canadian Impact to free up that area on cap. And then the Northeast will be somewhat irrelevant to them. Worth noting that X-Soldier is still floating around here, trying to make sure they're not getting rear flanked. They're being extra cautious about that, so that may be an indicator of what they consider the biggest threat to their current position. X-Soldier is going to come around very wide up the 4 line and probably light or do damage to these 3 mediums here. Yo, biding their time with a little bit of blind fire.
Now, is this 1 cap actually fairly easy to blind fire from those hills? Kind of like we saw on Steps.
Well, I would say no, it's not an easy cap to blind fire, but they won't necessarily need to blind fire it because Canadian Impact, Dodoma, and Akula can spot it very reliably. So I'm going to go with no on that one.
Well, it looks like Yo is going to make their
big
move into Noble. Are they going to crest up over this hill? It looks like Noble is actually facing the wrong direction. And here they go. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, no, they're just going to stop on the other side of this hill. Are they trying to buy time for them to get some cap pressure, or are they just hoping to get them slightly out of position to tip it back in their favor.
This is the nature of World of Tanks, where you think something big's about to happen, and then they pump the brakes because they realize it's bad news. Those mediums swung around the other side. They're bringing in Tasty Pastry. They're trying to get shots on external and force him down. That could be a clean pickup, but they don't necessarily have it. Militant's kind of holding a rear guard, making sure they're not getting flanked. All these heavies lit up Ajax with 1,100 hit points. He's going to have to back off, leaving that ridge pressure. She's going to put the rest of their mediums at great risk, as most of Noble has fantastic positions to come down behind him. Germ can drop down. He is doing a little bit more damage to Major Trouble and Ajax. They can suppress them. External now has free reign to come around and try and shoot at these mediums. Tasty Pastry's getting overexposed. Dodomo's going to pick on him all day. Both Canadian Impact and Akula brilliantly sharing hit points, playing that side to side. Andy Pants taking 772, 27, 406 going out on Bobby. Militant raining shots into this area. It is going real bad for Yo real fast, with an 8,000, 7,000 hit point differential in favor of Noble, as Yo finally going down here. Noble will close it out and end this match 5-0. But I will take a moment to say I saw many great things coming from a new team in the league, and I hope that they don't let this discourage them too much, because it's going to happen to pretty much everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody who's new, it's always that day where you square off the team that knows these maps like the back of their hand, and it's just bad time.
All right, well, congratulations to Noble for picking up another win. That makes 2 weeks in a row where they went 5-0.
2 days in a row. 1 week.
2 days in a row. I'm sorry, 2
Two
days
wins
in a row.
Two wins in a week.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely was not expecting to see that. I mean, I was kind of, really wanting to see that Yo logo again.
Yeah, this match to me was just nothing but excellence. Either we would see some kind of a nice clinic coming out from Noble, or you get to see that amazing logo, and get a huge upset, which would have been a great dramatic moment. But obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
So we're going to be rolling into the next match relatively shortly.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, congratulations to Noble on that decisive victory. And I guess we'll get into match 3 right after this.